What's up guys, Kyle with Max Conversion here with you today to walk you through a video on how to set up conversion tracking forms and phone calls in 2026 using Google Tag Manager. This will be a step-by-step guide for any websites, whether it's on WordPress or Wix or High Level. It is completely online. It is not an offline conversion tracking, which is a little bit different, but it also is all through Google Tag Manager. So let's jump right into it. All right, guys, so the first thing that we're going to want to do is set up our conversion action. So in this case, we're setting up phone calls for call asset, phone calls for on the landing page, and form submissions. So we're going to go over to goals here. And the first thing that we're going to want to check for is our account default goals. So if we go to forms and phone calls, we're going to want to make sure account default is on for form submissions. And we also want to make sure that phone calls are on for account default goals as well. Otherwise, sometimes when you set up a new campaign, even though conversions are being fired correctly, they might not count in your campaign, which is extremely frustrating because you can see the leads on the goals column, but you can't see the leads on the campaign level. And then Google doesn't optimize for that. So now what we're going to want to go ahead and do is create a conversion action. And then what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to select conversions on website, conversions from phone call. Don't worry about conversions offline at the moment. What we're going to first want to set up are our two phone calls. So we've got calls from ads. And what I like to do here is just calls from ads, add assets, also known as extensions. That's how they used to be known. For the value, unless you guys have a set value, what I would recommend is just don't use a value. If you guys do have a set value or you can average it out, you can definitely do that, where if you know out of every 10 leads, maybe 3 people book your service and each service averages $700, you can say each lead, you would do that 10 divided by, 2,100 divided by 10, and you might get, 210 for each value. However, it's not really necessary. Now you're going to want to make sure for phone calls and form submissions that they're counted as one. Otherwise, if they keep calling that number, they call it 3 times, 1 lead equals 3 calls. You want 3 conversions, which you don't want. Call length is completely dependent on your guys' company. So if you guys have somebody answering the phone consistently, you're not going to miss a call. Then I would put it on something that would be considered a good quality lead. Maybe 2 minutes, maybe 5 minutes. It all depends on the business and industry. However, if you guys occasionally miss a call or, you forward it to somebody else. Hey, yep, this is John with ABC company. Please call Julie, at the front desk. And it's a 30-second call. What I would recommend is setting call length to 0 seconds. That way you don't miss any call or any data being sent back into Google. It really, really all depends. If you guys only want good quality data, set it higher. If you guys just want all the data, then set it to 0. For click-through window, this doesn't really matter too much. Keeping it on 30 days is completely okay. Now, attribution, what we like to do is we like to use last click. However, data-driven attribution works fine as well. Google's going to recommend, as you can see, data-driven. But last click just makes the data cleaner. The difference between the two is last click. If somebody clicks on, say you're a roofing company, if they look up roofing replacement and storm damage restoration for roofing, they clicked on your ad 2 times, it would attribute the conversion half to both keywords. However, last click is just the last click. So if they just clicked on roof replacement company, it would just attribute to that. So we like that. It's cleaner data. It's a lot easier to manage long term. You don't get halves and quarters and just a whole lot easier to manage. Next, what we're going to want to do is set up calls from the website. And there's 2 ways to do this. The inefficient way to do it is setting up clicks. So if somebody clicks on your mobile number, counts as a conversion, doesn't guarantee a conversion at all. But if you guys don't want Google's forwarding number changing your number on your website, that's a great setup. And we have a different video that I'll link up above here right now that you guys can go over and watch that video on how to set up clicks for click to conversion for mobile devices. You'll also be missing out on the desktop. So if they call from desktop, you can't count that. Nobody's clicking on a phone number. However, what we're going to do here is we're just going to set it to someone calls a number shown on your website. And the way you want to set this up is however your number shows on your website, right? So if your number shows up as like this on your website, then do that. If it shows up as, this on your website, you'll do that. In this case, we'll just set it up like that. Now, same thing here. It says, people will see your website. It should be replaced by your it will be replaced by your Google forwarding number. Enter exactly as it appears on the site. I just like to keep these the same, just to keep it simple. It is not necessary though, because it's the number they're calling, but this is very, very important. You want to make sure it's the same number and the same format. What we're going to go ahead and do is use this event. Then we're going to edit settings. And then we're going to say, this is a call from the website or landing page. Now back to the value. If you guys do have a value, you can add that. If not, it does not matter. Call length, totally okay. Keep it 60 seconds, 5 minutes, 0 seconds, whatever you prefer. Now attribution, same thing. We're going to do last click for this one. We're going to go ahead and do is hit save and continue. Now we got both the phone call conversion action set up, and we'll come back around to this. Next, what we're going to go ahead and do is set up conversion action for the form submission. So we're going to go ahead and save and continue, submit lead form, create conversion. And then what we're going to go ahead and do is just have this website here. We're going to do manually with code. We've got our conversion settings here. And we're going to want to make sure it's a primary conversion action. Conversion name can be anything you guys like. Value goes back to, what we talked about previously. Click-through window is okay at 90. Engaged view conversion window is 3 days. View through conversion window is 1 day. Totally okay. Attribution last click and hit done. Going to go ahead and hit save and continue. Now what we're going to go ahead and do is jump over to Google Tag Manager. With Google Tag Manager, you'll want to make sure that it is installed on your website prior to, setting up these conversion actions, or right after, just so you can verify it. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump over to Google Tag Manager, and I'll walk you through that setup. All right, so once you're in Google Tag Manager and you've set up Tag Manager, you'll go over to Admin, and then you'd click on Install Google Tag Manager. Make sure that this is firing in the header, and then this is in the body. And then what we're going to go ahead and do is add our tags inside of here. We don't need any manual tags on the website. Everything's going to be through Google Tag Manager. The only thing you need to do on your website is just set up Tag Manager. Now, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to select New, Tag Configuration, and then we're going to select Conversion Linker. And then we want to trigger it on all pages. Even if your conversions only fire on specific pages, you want to make sure you fire on all pages. Now, sometimes they'll give you this where it's just invalid. You need a refresh. That's totally okay. It is a Google Tag Manager thing in 2026. So we're just going to try it again. So we got our conversion linker. That's step one. Next, what we're going to go ahead and do is set up our form submission since we already have that open. And we're going to go ahead and use Google Tag Manager. And here we have the conversion ID. So we're just going to go ahead and copy that. We've got the conversion label. Go ahead and copy that as well. If you guys have a conversion value, go ahead and add that there. And we're going to skip all of this. Nothing is required here. Now, triggering is, you can do it in two ways. It's better if you send the user to a thank you page where form submission and then they go over to a thank you page. So it's, testcompany.com/thank-you or thanks or some sort of confirmation page, maybe the booking page. However, there's two ways to do this. In this example, we're going to go through the thank you page. So make sure your form that you have set up goes to and is redirected to a thank you page. Or you can do it in these two ways as well. So what we're going to do is go to Tag Configuration, Page View, and we're going to do Some Pages, and we're going to do Page URL and Contains. And this is whatever your URL contains, right? So if it's testcompany.com/thank-you, it just contains thank, or, it can be thank you or you. If it's your booking page, maybe you have, booking with Brian or something, a name, and you could just have confirmation Brian or confirmation booking. It's whatever you guys choose, but just make sure that if it's being redirected, it just contains one of those words. And don't make it something, that you guys have throughout your website. If you're a plumbing company, don't just have like plumbing, have it something specific that, somebody can't visit other pages on your website and hit that conversion action. So what we're going to have for this is just thank, and then we're going to go ahead and save it, and we're going to save it as view thank you page. That way we know and understand that this is view thank you page. Now, the other alternative option, and this is something you guys are going to want to verify, and you can set it up just like this, where you hit the plus button, hit the plus button again, trigger, and then your form submission, and you can have it on some form submissions or all form submissions. And you can save it this way. Now this is tricky, right? So it's a form submission or a thank you page. That's just, double duty if you really wanted to do it that way. One or the other is totally fine. If you just had view thank you page, totally okay as well. The reason why we don't use form submission here is because it can be very technical to set up. So sometimes with, depending on if you're using WordPress or Wix or Squarespace or Duda or High Level, whatever you guys are using, this is going to trigger differently. A form submission on, using WP Forms on WordPress is going to trigger differently than something on Wix or High Level. And so it doesn't always track properly, if that makes sense, where this trigger doesn't always trigger upon a form submission. It does sometimes, depending on the form submission, but it requires some technical setup, and it's not always 100% guaranteed. So that's why we like to use the thank you page, just to not have to go through that technical setup. Makes it a whole lot easier. It's very easy to redirect any form. Any form should be able to redirect very easy. Just go into your form settings and type in that URL. Thank you pages are really simple to set up. It's just quick thank you. Hey, you can call us or book online if you prefer that. And that's typically how we have this set up. So from there, what we're going to go ahead and do is save it. I always like to put GA and then a M dash there, and then this, just in case you guys have a lot of tags. This just stands for Google Ads. And then we got our form submission. Now what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go and finish, and then phone call. And then what we're going to go ahead and do is this, our phone form, this extension that we had set up already. Typically this is going to be automatic on your ads. It's going to track properly. But we'll go through that after this setup here. You're going to want to go there and then your tag setup and use Google Tag Manager. Now we're going to copy our conversion ID. I'm going to go to tag configuration, Google Ads. Now, previously we used Google Ads conversion tracking. This one we want to use Google Ads calls from website conversion. We are going to set up the conversion ID. We're going to copy the conversion label. And then what we want to do is we want to make sure that this phone number here, we copy that, and we have that displayed phone number to replace. Make sure there's no spaces, and we're good to go. Now for this, we'll just trigger on all pages, whether you're running it to a landing page or you're running it to your home page or a sub page. Triggering it on all pages is the safest bet. So that's what we're going to do here. And that's really it. So we're going to hit GA, phone call conversion. That way we know it's a phone call conversion on the landing page. Next, what you're going to want to do is hit submit here, hit publish, and we are good to go on the tag manager side. We will verify that right at the end. But next, I want to jump over to the phone call extensions, making sure that is set up properly. Okay, so back into Google Ads, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go back to goals, and then we're going to go to campaigns, and then we're going to go to our specific campaign, say our plumbing general build out campaign. We're going to want to go to assets, and then from here we've got our call asset here, and this is our phone number. So on the call asset, we didn't have a set phone number. So if you guys want to run two different forwarding numbers, one on the landing page, one on the call extension, you can. But this doesn't matter. It doesn't have to match up with your other conversion action. Now, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to hit edit here. And for really any campaign, guys, I recommend having a call asset. No matter what you're running, have the call asset. It's very beneficial unless you don't take phone calls. And what we're going to go ahead and do here is we've got use account settings. So our ads would track perfectly fine now. Whether we change it or not, it would track fine. But if you guys have multiple, call extensions that you want to divvy up and organize, you can change it this way, where we've got our calls from ad extension, aka, call from ad asset, aka extension, and you can have it at that. That way it fires on that conversion. But if you just have use account settings, it will work totally fine. Now, how do we make sure that this is actually being tracked? How do we make sure that it's firing? How do we verify that? And so what we're going to want to do is jump back over into Tag Manager, and I'll walk you through that. Okay, so this is a live client of ours, and I'm going to walk you through their setup here. So we've got our phone calls on the page, and then we've got our, view thank you page. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to select preview. And then what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to type in the URL to verify that it's being tracked and set up properly. So what we're going to do is put in the URL, and then it will open up another window here. And we've got the URL open. We can see that it's debugging correctly. And so we'll just go ahead and minimize that, throw that out of the way, and we'll hit continue. Now what we can see is if we jump over here, we want this one to not be firing, but we do want this one to be firing, right? Because we want this phone number to be changing. That's what it does, is it changes the forwarding number. And so we can see here our conversion link is firing. That's correct. And we can see that our phone calls, we have 2 here, it seems like, but our phone calls on the main page are being tracked properly. And this is something different as well. So that is good. Now our form submission conversions are not firing. That is good because we want our form submissions to be firing on the thank you page. So what you're going to want to do is we've got this here, and this is very important that we have it set up this way. To verify, we're going to visit the thank you page. And so what we're going to go ahead and do is go back, close this out, close this out. We're going to preview, and then we're going to type in thank you here. And then this should fire, this should open up the thank you page, and this should fire the form submission conversion. So that way you verified that your form submission is being tracked properly. Again, if it's going to a booking page, make sure you put in that final URL, and our phone call conversions are being tracked properly as well on the website. Now your call assets, there's no way to verify that. However, those are pretty easy to set up. We don't really run into too many issues with them. And as long as you follow this step by step, you should have no problem with it. But if you guys got any use out of this video, it helped you set up conversion tracking on your account, make sure you leave a comment down below, hit the like button. It really helps us out, and subscribe for more helpful Google Ads content.